Hello and welcome from Budapest. This is Hungary Reports, kicking off Public Media M1's foreign language news hour. I'm Arpad Szőci, bringing you the latest from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Great that you can be with us. 4 of the migrants caught illegally breaking through a Hungarian border crossing in the south of the country have been sentenced to 1 year in prison and face a 4-year ban. The illegal entry happened on Tuesday at Röszke, where the 4 were quickly caught by border authorities. The defendants said that they had crossed over at 5:30 in the morning because they had heard that that's when the border is open. A 5th man got a suspended sentence, but also faces expulsion. So far, no one has tested positive in Hungary for the coronavirus. However, the government says health services are prepared just in case. Medical authorities say that regularly washing your hands can help defend against picking up the infection. You're actually at a higher risk if you recently returned from China or are in contact with someone who has recently been there.
This Chinese man has lived in Poland with his family for years. He also arrived from there now. He told M1 News that he has friends in Wuhan, but he's not that worried because young people have a lower risk of dying from the virus.
I'm young people and I'm strong enough to defend of the virus. It's not so easy to be death.
The president of the Hotel Association in Hungary said that among the nationalities who visit Budapest, China ranks 8th, but the number of Chinese tourists dropped since Wednesday when they suspended their travel abroad. There are cancellations, and interestingly, not always from Chinese visitors, but from lots of people who are afraid of traveling. These cancellations could influence the Hungarian hotel industry negatively, so let's hope this doesn't continue in the upcoming weeks, Tamás Flesch explained. Other than hotels, the Liszt Ferenc International Airport has also taken precautionary measures. They've placed hand sanitizing stations in different parts of the airport. The cleaning staff has been disinfecting surfaces more frequently, and anyone who requested it received a face mask. Experts warn that the most effective way to stop the Chinese coronavirus is to wash your hands as often and as thoroughly as possible. There are still no known cases of people with the coronavirus in Hungary, and the Hungarian healthcare system is prepared to take up the fight against the illness, the minister of the Prime Minister's office said at the weekly government press conference. Gergely Gulyás pointed out that they also requested that the Surgeon General create an action plan. Laboratory capacities have been freed up, more technical instruments for airports and sensitive entry points are on their way. They can be used in case someone arrives with a fever, since that's the first symptom of the illness, so that they can be quarantined until lab tests can confirm that they haven't been infected, the minister explained. He added that there have been rumors circulating in the past few days about the coronavirus that were false, and went on to say that spreading these rumors is considered threatening public safety under the criminal code and could be prosecuted.
And France is helping out in the evacuation of Hungarians in the city of Wuhan so that they can return to Hungary. A plane that will take them out of China will arrive in Wuhan early on Friday morning. The State Secretary for Communication and the International Representation of Hungary, Tamás Mencer, said that according to plans, the Hungarians would then arrive in the Marseille region of France. They would then be taken from there to Hungary. Currently, there are 8 Hungarians in Hubei province where Wuhan is, and none of them have gotten sick. 7 are returning home, and only 1 wants to remain in Wuhan. A Hungarian military contingent destined for an international peacekeeping mission in Kosovo was carrying out crowd control exercises at an artillery range in Híradó. The unit will be leaving for the Balkan territory in March. The Kosovo Force, or KFOR 22nd Contingent, is 400 strong and will be responsible for maintaining the peace in the Balkan state, whose political situation can be sometimes unstable.
There are angry demonstrators on one side of the barricade and Hungarian soldiers in protective gear facing them. This kind of a confrontation would not be unusual at a street protest in Kosovo. This time, the soldiers didn't have to disperse the crowd in a real-life situation. The mission going to Kosovo held their final practice at the shooting range in Híradó. They had to solve tasks which they might come across at any time in the politically unstable country. One priority task of the Hungarian peacekeepers is to teach fellow soldiers from other nationalities how to combat their fear of fire. On one hand, they learn to conquer the primal instinctive fear which exists in us against fire. And on the other hand, they learn new techniques, methods to decrease the effects of petrol bombs, to avoid injuries, and be able to carry on with their duties, the deputy commander said. This was the final drill after 3 months of training. The Hungarian soldiers will also have crowd control and patrol duty tasks. Almost 400 soldiers will fly to Kosovo with the 22nd contingent of KFOR. The peacekeepers will serve a half-a-year tour of duty in the Balkans.
One of cycling's greatest competitions, the Giro d'Italia, will have its start this time in Hungary. As part of the preparations, many settlements are doing themselves up in its racing color, pink, including our all-news public media TV station M1. And if you're in the Hungarian capital, major landmarks like the Chain Bridge, Híradó Square, and Vajdahunyad Castle are also pretty in pink. The race will start in Budapest, continue up north to the Danube Bend and westwards to Győr, then dip southbound to continue from Székesfehérvár, going along the northern coastline of Lake Balaton to Nagykanizsa in the southwest.
A chocolate crumble and Sicilian pistachios with sea salt, all within a raspberry jelly from Piedmont. This dessert, made from exclusively Italian ingredients, was created by Szabolcs Korady, especially for the Giro d'Italia 2020, which will be starting for the very first time from Central Europe, and in this case for the very first time from Hungary. The Giro d'Italia will start in the Hungarian capital on May 9th. That means that there are exactly 100 days until the time trial and the 2 stages kick off in Budapest. The countdown begins with an old tradition. The symbolic sites and buildings of the competition are dressed up in the official color of the competition, pink. The Puskás Arena and Vajdahunyad Castle both received a pink glow, for example, joined by the Lookout Tower in Nagykanizsa, the Thermal Lake in Zalakaros, and the Mádl Ferenc Square in Tihany. In 100 days, the whole world will see Tihany. That's why we're here today. Go Tihany, go Giro, this man said. The first 3 stages of the 103rd Giro d'Italia will be held in Hungary between May 9th and the 11th. During the Giro, competitors will bicycle through 21 stages and cover 3,850 kilometers in 3 weeks. Hungarian public media is covering the event. The Italian race is one of the world's biggest sporting events. 800 million people watched it live last year, either in person or on TV. The managing director of the National Sport Agency told M1 News that they'd like Hungarian young adults and families to experience the competition together as a big community. They encourage everyone to volunteer at the event. Road races are a bit unique because they're not held in one venue. During those 3 days, we have to work in unison with more than 70 towns stretching over several hundred kilometers. So we need a lot of helping hands. We would love to see people volunteering in the different towns and counties. We're going to need a lot of teamwork, Zsigmond Nagy said. The 103rd Giro d'Italia starts in Budapest on May 9th and ends in Milan on the 31st.
The Tihany Abbey, located on the northern peninsula of Lake Balaton, awaits visitors all year round. King András I of Hungary had the abbey built almost 1,000 years ago in 1055. In fact, the king is buried there, and his gravesite is still in its original state in the lower church. An upper-level Baroque-style church was built in the 18th century. The altar and the pulpit were made by an Austrian master carpenter. The main altar depicts Anya of Orleans, whom it is also named after. On either side of it are statues of the Hungarian kings Saint István and Saint László. Hungary's highest point is now snow-covered. Several centimeters have fallen on Mount Kékes, which makes the 1,015-meter-high mountain a perfect tourist destination for those who love fresh air and a gorgeous panoramic view. Besides hiking, you can also just have fun in the snow, and it's great for nature lovers and photographers. However, skiers will still have to keep their gear at home as the snow isn't quite deep enough yet to open up the ski runs. And that's all for now, but you can see Hungary reports in repeats and on the internet. And we're back live after the next Hungarian news program at 11:20 p.m. Central European Time. Please stay tuned now, if you can, for our shows in German, Russian, and Chinese. Thanks very much for watching, and viszontlátásra!